What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Jared Barnes Show. I am your host, Jared Barnes. Today, Nate is joining me. Micah is with me. It is our Super Bowl episode. You can see that by, pointed the wrong direction. The little Lombardi trophy right up there in the corner. I added that, thought it was cool. Wanted to point it out for anybody that does not necessarily always pay attention to that. I care about it, but we have a lot to talk about today. Aaron Rodgers is going on a 4-day darkness retreat. Kind of wild. Derek Carr visited the Raiders yesterday. Panthers and Cowboys have hired. Well, we're filming this today. Yeah, you're all good. But we filmed it the day prior, so he visited yesterday. We just got a little confused behind the scenes here. We're good though. We're good. Uh, I do that all the time. It's all good. But Panthers and Cowboys hired some coordinators. The Pro Bowl happened this past weekend. We'll give our thoughts on that. Some NBA stuff is going on. The trade deadline is near. Nate will be doing a special tomorrow on the box out. I will leave the link to that, his channel, and then when the special is posted, I will post a link in this as well, so people will be able to see it. We're going to give our NFL award picks in this episode, and to end the episode, we're doing rank 3 just like we did last week. It is Super Bowl week, so we are doing the best Super Bowl moments we can think of. So these might be a little biased because we've only lived through maybe 20 Super Bowls. So, let's be honest. I don't remember a lot from the Super Bowls in the 90s because I didn't exist. I didn't live them. So there's nothing from later than Super Bowl 36, in case you're wondering, out of my list. No spoilers, but looking forward to that. With that being said, let's get into some NFL topics. And we'll start off with the one I said we will start off with, Aaron Rodgers, the king of off-season drama. On Pat McAfee's show on Tuesday, he said he's doing a 4-day darkness retreat. What even is a darkness retreat? That's a question that a lot of people started asking. I was curious because on McAfee's show, he talked about it like he's going into almost like a shack type thing where they can drop in food for 4 days, where the door is unlocked. He can leave at any time if he would like, but it's complete darkness for 4 whole days. They were asking questions like, is it darkness at night and you can go hike during the day? No, it's complete darkness all day, all night. So I did a little digging and found out that a, darkness retreat, it has spiritual ties that go all the way back to Tibetan Buddhism. It's about isolating yourself in a room devoid of light or other sensory distractions and staying there for an extended length of time. Rodgers is doing it for 4 days. According to many, that's the basic of what it is. Rodgers said that practitioners are free to leave at any time, like I mentioned, if they choose, and meals are delivered twice a day via a small double-door food box so no light gets into the room. I don't know what is going to be in these little cave/room things. I find it intriguing and interesting. So I went to Google to see what these things look like because I had to know. And these are the kind of things that I don't know if he's going to be in one of these, but I'd assume it's going to be something like this right here. That's terrifying looking. That doesn't look like it has a lot of space. I don't think this is what the inside look like, but this is another one. He's a weird dude. He's a very weird dude. He's not a normal human being. It's concerning. But he did say that his future will be decided some point after this darkness retreat, so that'll be interesting to see. My question to you guys is, I don't know if you have any thoughts on the darkness retreat thing. I assume not, because that kind of baffles me still to this day, that he would do something as wild as that, but he did do ayahuasca. He does weird stuff. Where would you like to see Aaron Rodgers play in 2023? What team do you think is a good landing spot for Aaron? And Nate, I'll start with you if you have any thoughts there.
Yeah, first off, I want to say, he might not be going on hikes during the day, but he's definitely going through some journeys inside the room. if you know what I mean. He has talked about it exclusively, and there's going to be more than food coming in on those plates for the Darkness Retreat. But seriously, where I would like to see Aaron Rodgers play, hometown kid, got passed up in the draft. Like as much as we probably like Brock Purdy, as much as we like, oh, I don't like the 49ers being successful. I want Aaron to go to the 49ers and then lose. So, like, I'm not a huge Rodgers guy. He kind of, I have a Packers friend, and he's right. Aaron kind of owns us. It's very sad, but I think just for him and just for him to end his career, I think it'd just be nice for him to go play for his hometown team, because Tom Brady's not going to play there anymore because he's retired. So I think if anywhere else other than Green Bay, I think I'd probably just go San Francisco.
I think he did say he would not play in San Fran over the weekend. But I
Really?
think that was in a joking jest manner. I'd assume if San Fran traded for him that he'd have to play there. But I don't think the Packers would trade him to the NFC. I think the Raiders are a good spot for him. They're going to need a quarterback. I don't know if they can land a guy in the draft picking at 7. They'd have to trade up to get one, I think. Unless they drafted Hendon Hooker, who I'm a big fan of, but I don't think anybody's going to draft Hendon Hooker in the first round. So I think the Raiders would be a good spot for him, but I think he's going to end up back in Green Bay, playing in Green Bay again if he does come back and play. And Mike, you have anything to add there?
The only thing I got to add to that is that I don't think he needs to go play for any team. I think he just needs to call it quits. That's my view on it. I mean, like I said in like previous episodes, he's just an old grumpy guy on the field. I think for him to just live out a nice life, he just quits, lives out in retirement, comfy. He's rich. I mean, I don't think he needs to go play anywhere. If he does, I'd agree with the Raiders, but I say call it quits. Hopefully, this 4-day retreat, darkness, creepy thing, whatever this is, hopefully he gets his head straight and realizes, yeah, maybe it is time to quit. That's my view on it. So I don't have really much to say.
If he does retire, he is jumping directly into your world, though, of golf. You do know that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, golfers are a little upset with him because they do think he's sandbagging, saying that he's I think they call 10, what do they call that? When you're playing golf, he has a 10 handicap or something like that. Yeah. He said he had a 10 handicap and he was playing way better than 10 handicap. So,
Yeah, there a funny story on that because the last time that he played with the 10 handicap, I could be wrong. I think he won something like that. He came really close. Anyways, all the players and when I say all the players, I mean like the majority of the players were angry at him for saying that he had a 10 handicap, and it was funny because they were just all were pissed. I mean, like they were just all mad at him, and they were saying that he should drop his his handicap the next time he comes and plays. I don't know why. I mean, honestly, he was playing with it was a pro am tournament. I don't know what they're complaining about. They should have played better themselves. So, I mean, he doesn't need to drop that. Come on, ridiculous.
no, I agree. But then again, they're all competitive. So, like, I can understand wanting to win. But the Raiders do currently have a quarterback in Derek Carr who's still on the roster. And there are some issues with Derek Carr's contract that are in the best interest of the Raiders to move on from him as fast as possible. I hit in the intro that he's visited the Saints yesterday. But the Raiders have a deadline of February 15th to trade or cut Carr because he has a $40.4 million guarantee that goes into place then. 32.9 of that million is in 2023, and 7.5 of that is in 2024. It's a lot of guaranteed money for a quarterback that some would say isn't all that great. I think Derek he's not an elite quarterback because I think there's only a few of those. Mahomes, I think Rodgers is in that category. Brady was in that category, but he retired. I think Herbert could find his way into that category. Hurts is in that category. I think Burrow is in that category. And I think Josh Allen could also find his way into that category. I don't think he's in that category myself personally. But I think Derek Carr I don't know if he's the step below elite or if he's the next class right below could become elite, because I don't think he could become elite. but I think he'd become a great quarterback. I like him better than Kirk Cousins. So Kirk Cousins is a really good quarterback that led the Vikings to a very good record in the NFC. A team like the Saints, who were in desperate need of a quarterback, could really use his services. Problem is, Saints are like $55 million over the cap as of right now without even really, making any moves just yet. And they're going to have to restructure a lot of people's contracts or cut a few individuals that are very talented. Michael Thomas, who knows if he's on the cutting block? He hasn't played in I feel like he hasn't played a lot of significant snaps for the Saints over the last few years. Well, last time he played significant snaps was with Drew Brees, and he was one of the best receivers in the entire NFL, which is why he got the contract he got. But to get Derek Carr, they would have to trade for him. People are expecting a third-round draft pick to be the only compensation you have to trade to get Carr because the Raiders are hoping someone would take on his contract so they don't have to cut him. Because if they cut him before the 15th, they only have to pay him $5 million. That's all the dead cap they incur. If they cut him after or trade him after, they incur a dead cap of 40 plus. So for them, it's going to benefit them. NFL teams know that the Raiders don't really have a lot of leverage right here. So they're probably going to force the Raiders' hand and force them to cut Derek Carr because there's no way the Raiders are going to want to take that cap hit. And there's no way an NFL team is going to want his salary and his contract the way it is currently set up. So the Raiders are probably going to have to cut him. Fits best. Did I just cut out? Am I good? I cut out on my screen. Stupid Wi-Fi in this stupid dorm room. This is very frustrating. But where do you think Derek Carr fits best? I would personally say the Indianapolis Colts. I think that's the best place that he fits. I don't think the Saints could afford him, but I would say the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know if you guys have a take on that, but I would say the Colts.
I think somebody we've talked about as needing a quarterback. And he's not elite by any means. He's not. I don't think he's even the tier below elite. He's probably either one spot after Dak or two spots after Dak. He's decent. Like you would want him on your team over Carson Wentz. And so I would say, a great place for you to come to NFC East, try to help Washington get over the hump and just potentially compete for a playoff spot. Because this is a good division, but if you have a quarterback like Taylor Heineke, who, he's decent for them, but he's not somebody you expect to lead you into the playoffs. And Carson Wentz is just too sporadic and too trigger happy to get you into the playoffs as well. He's too inconsistent. So I think Derek Carr is slightly more reliable, and I think he would just fit there great. I think that would be a great place for him to go. He has a great defense. You get national televised games. I think that would be a great place for him to go, is Washington.
I also think he fits the mold of quarterbacks that Ron Rivera loves. Ron Rivera loves quarterbacks, specifically since he's gotten the Washington and towards the end of his time in Carolina. He loves quarterbacks that are safe options. And Derek is a safe option when you give him a decent offensive line. That's any quarterback, though, except Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz throws a ridiculous amount of picks. He'll put you back in the game, but he'll put you out of the game just as fast as he put you back in the game. His decision-making is not great. And as of today, Ron Rivera did say that their starting quarterback as of right now going into the season would be Sam Howell. So they're in desperate need of a quarterback. Sam Howell was a 6th-round pick last year. I like Sam Howell. I think there's potential with Sam Howell, but there's a reason Sam Howell was a 6th-round pick. His fundamentals are not great, and his ceiling isn't all that high, in my opinion. Could he be a guy? Sure. Anybody drafted in the NFL or signed in the NFL could turn out to be a guy because they're elite athletes. You have to be an elite athlete to get to the NFL at that point. But I don't have a lot of faith in Sam Howell. Washington would be a great landing spot. Tennessee would be another great landing spot if they decide to move on from maybe Ryan Tannehill. It'd be interesting to see because if Rodgers stays in Green Bay or retires, Derek Carr is the best available veteran option. And there are a lot of teams that are quarterback needy, like the Panthers, Washington, the Saints, the Colts. The Colts are dying for a quarterback, but do they want to go to that veteran route again? Probably not. They probably want a rookie. So with that being said, I don't know if he's going to go anywhere he's definitely going to want to go to the AFC because he's going to want to play the Raiders. I don't really see him going to the NFC unless that team trades for him or offers him a massive contract. But going to the NFC might be the smart move because the NFC, if Rodgers retires, they don't really have crazy elite quarterbacks. Like the AFC is kind of stacked, and they have young quarterbacks that are super talented coming up, like Burrow, Allen, Lawrence, to name a few. I mean, I was trying to think of more on the top of my head. Herbert, like Mahomes is in that division. Like there's in that division, but conference, like it's kind of crazy. So it'll be interesting to see where Derek Carr goes. Speaking of, I mentioned the Panthers when I was talking about Derek Carr. So speaking of the Panthers hired the former defensive coordinator of the Denver Broncos, Ejiro Evero. Ejiro Evero had the Broncos defense playing so well this year that if the Broncos offense would have only scored 18 or more points in every single game this season, they would have been like 13-4 or something like that, or 12-5. Some crazy stat that I read. If they just scored 18 points in every single game or more, they would be like 12-5. That's how good that Broncos defense was. That's how bad that Broncos offense was. And towards the end of the season, it's respectable. I mean, I guess kind of for that defense to finally be like, I'm tired of it. We're done because we're doing all we can do and you can't even score a touchdown. Kind of frustrating. He decided he did not want to be employed under Sean Payton, I guess. And that's a massive hire for the Panthers, who just landed Frank Reich, who can now fully focus on the offense because he has a legit guy on the defense who, in my opinion, should have been up for jobs. He should have been up for jobs. But for whatever reason, he wasn't really up for a lot of jobs. I'm not 100% sure why. But the Broncos defense was dominant. He's a great hire. The Panthers are in need of that. And that division, the NFC South, is wide open because there is no real quarterbacks in that division. Every team is just bottom tier, middle of the road. Like with these kind of hires, Panthers could really make some real changes if they land a decent quarterback. And I just love the hire. Speaking of another hire, the Dallas Cowboys hired a new offensive coordinator, Brian Schottenheimer. He is the son of the legendary coach, and his name is now escaping me, but Schottenheimer of the the name is an NFL name. You hear that name, Schottenheimer, you're going to think of a high-powered offense. Brian Schottenheimer has 13 years of experience as an NFL offensive coordinator. He's called a lot of plays, been around a lot of different teams. He likes to run the football. That is known. His last stint as offensive coordinator when he was in Seattle, Seattle loved to run the football. Whether that was Pete Carroll or whether that was Brian Schottenheimer, they loved to run the football. Now, Russ did cook a lot underneath Brian Schottenheimer, and Russ was a fan of him, and Russ was not happy when he was fired. And ever since Russ has not played with him, there's been a downfall in his career. Whether that actually is the reason, I doubt it, but it could play into it because maybe Schottenheimer had a certain, way of calling plays that benefited to Russ's, playmaking ability, where Russ is just launching the ball downfield and not having to make any other decisions because he was just throwing to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. I'm a fan of this, and it makes sense that the Cowboys would definitely want to tag Tony Pollard and then make Zeke take a pay cut to keep those running backs around because Schottenheimer loves running backs, and you can never have enough running backs, especially if you have one in Tony Pollard that's just a massive weapon. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Yeah, with that being said, the only other NFL topic I have before we get into some basketball is the Pro Bowl. It was this weekend. How did we feel about it? The Pro Bowl games. It wasn't necessarily called the Pro Bowl, it was called the Pro Bowl games. Nate, I'll let you go because I know you have some thoughts, and I'll leave my thoughts for last here. What do you think they should do differently next year? Because, like Roger Goodell did say today, the flag football game is staying, and that's the way they're going to do it moving forward. And the current setting of the Pro Bowl games is locked in place, and they're going to do this continually moving forward as well. With that information, how do you feel?
Honestly, I'm a huge proponent of them keeping the flag football game. Like, I really enjoy that. It looked like they were all being competitive. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, this is kind of like touch football. Like, they all looked like they were competing, and it just looked like they were all having fun, and it was fun to watch. But having said that, I have not really watched a Pro Bowl since Kobe died. Like, that was probably the last time I was watching a Pro Bowl. So, like, it's not like they have been memorable. Am I not on?
Yeah, you cut out. I'm not sure what happened, but you cut out and the screen froze.
Oh, no.
We're good.
We're good?
We're good. We're good. Technical difficulties with the Wi-Fi.
Sorry, guys. This is a prison. Respectfully, this is a prison. Wi-Fi does not work good in these walls. But I have not really watched a Pro Bowl game, I think, since Kobe died. That was probably the last time I like sat down and watched it, and then the news broke, and I don't think I've ever watched one since. But I mean, I'm glad they're making changes. I'm glad they're moving on. But the catch thing, that's got to go.
It happened again. Just pause. We're good.
Okay.
I'll edit this.
Yes, please do. This is bad.
Yeah.
It didn't freeze on my screen.
Huh?
It didn't freeze on my screen.
Yeah, but it froze on us.
I didn't freeze on me.
It didn't freeze on you?
No.
Oh, so this is probably just on my end.
I don't know what it is.
Keep going.
We're just going to keep going. Yeah. I have not watched a Pro Bowl probably since Kobe died. That was probably the last one that I remember watching. But having said that, I think they made positive changes. But if I were to change anything, the catch competition, whatever that was, that's got to go. Like, that's kind of like their slam dunk competition. They kind of try to do something where it's like, oh, we're going to have these players demonstrate their flash and their creativity. You know, it kind of just looked like Stephon Diggs was being a pervert. That's kind of all the catch competition really kind of did. So I don't know. I was not a huge fan of that. But I think the flag football, that's great. The quarterback throwing competition, that was great. Dodgeball, that was great. And I like the way it's moving, but yes, you do need to get rid of the catch thing and replace it with something else. Micah, you got any thoughts on the Pro Bowl and what they probably should change, if anything?
Yeah, the overall idea is good. I'll agree with it. I mean, it's safer. Less players are going to get hurt. I mean, not like they got hurt in the first place, but I mean, it's safer in the overall run aspect of it.
There's actually some effort now in the flag football game. There was some effort.
Yeah. And I loved watching Tyreek go around after the game and interview players. That was a fun aspect too. That was a side note though. Anyways, so the overall game though itself was really good. I loved watching it. The aspects that they had going on was really good. The dodgeball, the catches, then bringing in Pete Davidson helped. I mean, they had the Eli and the overall aspect of it was really good. The one thing that I'd like to see happen is bringing in maybe like retired players or older players and bringing them in and almost because that's how you're going to bring in more people maybe to watch this. And if you do that, I think it'd just be fun to watch them come back for like one game. That's all that they're coming back for and just play for it. I mean, I think that'd be really fun to watch. The advertisement was good. I mean, the overall thing was really cool to watch. Bring in old players. That's the only thing I really got to switch.
I have some major issues with it. I got some major beef. I got some major problems with the way it was set up. It was fun that there was games, right? I love that. Why are we pre-recording? And when we pre-record, why are we showing the misses? especially with the first round of the catch competition on Thursday, where they're showing these misses when it's pre-recorded. Because I know high schoolers that can go out there, pre-record a video, edit that thing up, and it would look better than the product that ESPN put out for that catch competition, the first edition. Another issue, the water balloon thing has to go. They did a water balloon thing. Nobody liked it. I haven't heard a single person that liked it. They're very much marketing this thing towards children, which I respect. But at that point, put it on Nickelodeon. Do not put it on ESPN. I understand this was on ABC, so like there is a bit of a difference when you do put something on ABC. You're definitely playing more towards a larger group of individuals because not everybody's going to go over to ESPN to find it. They found it on ABC. I just burped there. I apologize. Didn't mean to. Water got to me. The water got to me. But there was just some things, like some competition things that I would like to see. Like it really made me mad that the kick-tack-toe was pre-recorded and then played on Saturday. I didn't like that at all. I know that was pre-recorded. That was stupid. Do that thing live at the stadium during the thing, like during one of the breaks. Gridiron Gauntlet was cool. Big fan of that. I was not the biggest fan of that. I can't remember what it was called, but they had the sticks and they drug it by the sticks, and it was like it was this thing that started off as 5,000. Move the sticks is I think what it was called.
Yes.
That event I was not a fan of at all. If you want to show off the big man's strength, put out a bench press out there, put 225 on the bench, let them rep that thing till they can no longer rep it, and see who the strongest big man in the league is. Because you're going to get the fans in there involved. They're going to be counting them. They're going to be counting them reps. 1, 2, 47, 53. Like them dudes are going to probably do 60 reps of that 225 because they're going to want to show off to their boys. Like imagine Trent Williams repping 225 with the animal that he is. The best event, and the catch. I understand the idea that they have with the spectacular catch thing. Do not play it like it's the best event they have because it is not. The best event they have is the quarterback precision passing thing. That thing has been the best event all the time. Bring back the deep throw competition. That's the one they need to bring back. And invite every quarterback in the NFL to come participate, not just the Pro Bowl guys. Also, Marlon Humphrey tweeted, I think it was either Saturday or Sunday, there's way too many people in Vegas. Agreed. Move it to a secluded area like Hawaii. Take it back to Hawaii because I think that's how you're going to get some of the better, especially older NFL players. Why would the older NFL players who have probably experienced a Pro Bowl want to go to Vegas when they're 30 years old and have a family with kids? And do they want to drag their kids to Vegas? Probably not. Do they want to drag their wife to Vegas? No, because then who knows if she's yelling at him when he's out late drinking with his boys on the strip in Vegas. Could happen. But it's a celebration of the game. Let's keep it a celebration of the game. I like that they brought back some old vets to coach. I enjoy that they brought the Mannings in because the Mannings have a massive respect for the Pro Bowl. There was a long time where people called Peyton like the mayor of the Pro Bowl because like that was like the Pro Bowl meant a lot to him. So involving, I think, veterans. I don't know if playing is the thing to do because we don't need to see a veteran die out on the field that's out of shape of a heart attack or him, PTSD, CTE attacks, and then he kills somebody on the field as well. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that doesn't happen. But like CTE is a real thing. Antonio Brown thinks James Harrison hit him and gave him a concussion when it was obviously Vontaze Burfict. I mean, that's neither here nor there. We don't got to talk about that.
But we have already seen the effects of what CTE can do to a man. So we already know exactly what it does.
Yeah, I mean, he still thinks Kanye is a good guy, so CTE is a real issue. So, with that being said, I do have some issues with the Pro Bowl. I think if you move it back to Hawaii, though, you'd be able to convince Josh Allen to come to the Pro Bowl instead of saying he's got an elbow injury and then playing in the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, which is the same time as your Pro Bowl. You can't tell me you're injured playing golf with a bad elbow when in golf, a lot of elbow movement, I feel like. Not a golf guy, but a lot of elbow movement. That's going to really hurt your elbow playing golf, I feel like. So obviously he didn't have an elbow injury. He called in sick to work. And then instead we had Tyler Huntley, who, to be fair, was the best AFC quarterback in the flag football game. Could be because he was a mobile quarterback, but that plays a big part. So that's the game. I love the competitive juices that were played in the game. I'll be intrigued to see how they move forward doing it next year. But definitely not a fan of some of the games they did. We do not need to have them pre-recorded. That will not change, though. That's definitely not going to change. Kick-tack-toe could be so cool. But then again, I love special teams. So why would other people necessarily want to watch that? But then again, the Pro Bowl should be a celebration of the game, and it needs to always happen. Because the NHL has a great All-Star game. The NBA has a great All-Star game. The MLB has a great, well, it's at least the NBA is at least a great All-Star game weekend. It's a great weekend celebration. And MLB, same thing. It's like a great weekend celebration. They're all in the middle of their seasons. Ours happens to be at the tail end of ours. I don't think you could do it in the middle. Don't think it'd be good to do it in the middle. But you need to have it because it is a celebration of the game. But that's all I really have to say about NFL stuff today. Outside of when we do our awards to end the show and our rank 3. With that being said, Nate, there's been some trades that happened just yesterday. Intrigued to hear your thoughts on them.
Yeah, no, there has been a lot of movement very recently on everything. Let's start probably with the biggest trade. Kyrie Irving has been traded to the Dallas Mavericks for Dorian Finney-Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie, draft compensation, and not even a crazy amount of draft compensation either. So you get Luka the opportunity to play with a great player, a closer. This is Mark Cuban saying, "Hey, Luka, I'm trying to get you everything that you need to win a championship. I'm trying to do everything you can to be successful." However, if this does not work, you probably lose Luka. I said it before. I think I said it on Twitter. This is a make or break trade for the Dallas Mavericks. They can get a championship now, or they probably lose Luka because Kyrie Irving can leave in free agency. Like the Mavs have not put a deal out there and said, "Hey, we want to sign you for 4 years on the max contract." They have not done that yet. Kyrie Irving is a total free agent and willing to go wherever he pleases after this season if it doesn't work out. And let's be real, Kyrie Irving does not have the greatest track record with teams and leaving them in pristine condition. The Celtics is an outlier. The Cavs were bad for a while. They were bad for a while. And the Boston Celtics is an outlier, but Brooklyn was kind of in shambles too. It's a good thing they have Cam Thomas, and that's kind of the theme: is he leaves the veterans in shambles. He leaves the dreams that you had with the veteran star, but the young players will come in and help fix it. So that's the cool thing. But you have Luka Doncic, so he could probably save it. But if you screw up this chance, there's nobody else on that team other than Christian Wood. This is a make or break trade for the Dallas Mavericks. And as a Suns fan, I am sorry, I just spit out there. That's my bad. As a Suns fan, I am praying on Luka's downfall. I'm praying on the Mavs' downfall. So this is probably just me being a hater, but I don't think it's going to work in Dallas. It didn't really work in Houston. And they had Kevin Durant. They had Kevin Durant, he's probably a great player, a lot better than Christian Wood. And they still only won one playoff series in 3 years. They got swept last year. Didn't make it the year prior because he was injured. But there was Harden, Kyrie, and KD, and they won one playoff series. Insane. Should not happen.
People talk about what could have been with Russ, KD, and Harden all the time. Is that a bigger what could have been with James Harden, Kyrie, and KD? In my opinion, yes.
Oh yeah. I think are you talking about the Thunder? That's
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say because they were so young when they were the Thunder, And so like you're trying to think like would they develop the same? Like would Harden get the same amount of touches to become averaging 30 points for 30 days? You know what I mean? It's hard to say, but I would say Brooklyn was a bigger failure than the Thunder ever was.
That's all I wanted to hear.
Yeah. Just so you know, if you're new, he is a Thunder fan. Very weird, but Pittsburgh doesn't have a team. So
I absolutely love that LeBron gets the scoring title, and he cannot beat the Thunder. My favorite thing of all time.
that being said, that moves us smoothly right into our next topic. LeBron James has officially become the leading scorer in NBA history. And
He's the GOAT.
whoa. How many? He has this many. In my book, him and Steph are on the same plane. 4 championships.
Cap.
I mean, bro, when JJ Barrera is your father, it's very hard for me to say that you're the GOAT. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. I think we had this discussion a couple shows back, but yes, no, despite what we could say about the GOAT argument, it's very clear that LeBron James is one of the greatest players to ever play the game of basketball. He is the only player that can be in the conversation for GOAT status, other than Michael Jordan. Honestly, I would put them on the same plane. I'm not mad at you if you put LeBron up there. Me personally, I'd put Jordan up there, but I think they're equal now. And we talked about it. I think I talked about it with other people, but he got this mainly because of longevity. Because KD has one of the highest scoring averages of all time. I believe he's fourth. It goes Michael Jordan, obviously, Wilt Chamberlain. Refresh. Do we know who's third?
I will look that up. I could be wrong on the KD thing when I told you that, by the way, just so we're clear.
Okay. I think he was fourth. But the fact of the matter is LeBron James is fifth in scoring, but he's played for 20 seasons. And, Jordan took out 2 years of his prime. So I think comparing their careers and accolades are different, but I think what Jordan accomplished in his time was just a little bit better. But this is not a GOAT topic. We just want to celebrate that LeBron James has broken the scoring record. One of the greatest to ever do it. And it was very, very cool moment. I kind of just wish they ran the quarter out. It was about 10 seconds left. They probably should have, but that's besides the point. We have the stats.
Points per game of all time. Michael Jordan and Wilt tied at 1. I mean, I think. Yeah, 30.1 for both Michael and Wilt. Elgin Baylor, 27.4.
Elgin Baylor's a good
KD, 27.3. LeBron, 27.2. LeBron's played a lot more games. 432 more games than KD.
Mm-hmm. And probably you look at Elgin Baylor too. I would imagine he's played a lot more games than Elgin Baylor has as well.
Elgin Baylor played 846.
Yeah. So I mean, LeBron is a great player, and he surprisingly is decent at scoring when that's not something that you would consider him. When you think of LeBron, you don't think of a scorer. You think of a lot of other aspects of his game, and it's just very cool to see him do that. But I did want to talk about this. We don't have a graphic because this happened very, very recently, right before we started recording. Russ has been traded. The most valuable picks in the NBA. Well, one of the most valuable picks in the NBA has been traded. We got a graphic. That's beautiful. So there was rumors about a big trade happening between Minnesota, the Lakers, and the Utah Jazz. I didn't really think there was a whole lot to it, but I'm trying to get the full details here. So Russell Westbrook has been sent to the Utah Jazz, where he's most likely going to get bought out, and a lightly protected 2027 first round pick. So that just means it's top 5 protected. They said that to the Jazz. The Lakers got in exchange D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, and Malik Beasley. that's how valuable that is. That's wild to me. Absolutely wild to me. I don't understand. I mean, I get that it's a very, very valuable pick, but it's still top 5 protected. Like if they were talking about getting them both. I think if I'm giving you all that, give me at least an unprotected pick. Like that, the protection makes no sense. But and I think Minnesota got Mike Conley in this deal as well. Mike Conley got shipped off to Minnesota, and Minnesota also got some second round draft compensation. This makes not like to be Brian Windhorst here. Danny Ainge is about to do something crazy, I think.
The Mayo King.
Yeah. I love Brian Windhorst. He's a great guy. One of my favorites. Like I wish that he broke news because I would follow him a little bit over Shams, the Riz God.
Did he cry last night?
Windhorst?
Yeah. Did he cry like when LeBron broke the scoring record? I'm sure he bawled, right?
I would imagine.
He cried tears of Mayo, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
They did. Not to make jokes. Like I love Windhorst, but
Yeah, well, him and Skip were hugging, but for different reasons. Like Skip was just sad that he has to say LeBron broke the scoring record, where Brian Windhorst was just so happy.
did you guys see the picture of when LeBron broke the scoring record and everybody in the place with their cameras and like people are talking about that? There's one dude in the front row without his phone out. Phil Knight.
Legend.
What a G to just be like, I've accomplished a lot. I'm gonna be here because I can afford it. He's also my guy. Even though I'm not gonna say that.
No. No. We are still young. We're still young. We don't want to end early as
Yeah,
a
I'm not
podcast.
Not gonna bring up China at all. But Phil Knight literally just sitting there, leg crossed, no phone, just living in the moment. I love that. Absolutely love that. Just wanted to say it.
Yeah, no. I think that was probably the craziest thing because they compared the picture of Jordan making this game-winning shot in the finals for a 6-1, and there's a kid like this. I think that's one of the coldest pictures of all time.
It's a cold picture, but I did see some of the people say, "Oh, look, nobody was recording Jordan." What were they supposed to record with? The brick that they were carrying around in their pocket? Their Nokia with a quarter of a megapixel camera? Get out of here. Stupid take. Just wanted to say that. Dumb take.
Bro, it was bro, they also said LeBron cursed in front of a live audience where Jordan has never done that. I mean, like on the microphone. So like people, LeBron stands are one of the funniest people on the planet. But yeah, it's been a wild time with the NBA so far, and it's gonna get even crazier tomorrow. KD could be traded. We don't know. There's been conflicting reports. Some say he's most likely not to be traded, but I saw this afternoon that past 48 hours they've been really, really thinking about it. You know, thinking what the best move is for them. So we will see. But just to plug myself, I'm going live tomorrow, about an hour after the trade deadline ends. I think if Jared's there, we might do it together. But right, if you're available,
If I'm available. I think there's our school has a basketball game tomorrow that I might have to work.
okay, that's
And
fair.
I remembered. Yeah, there is a game tomorrow, so we're probably gonna have to work that, Micah.
And no, they both work. Like you're both sports management, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm English, but I have to just write a bunch of papers. I chose the wrong major, man.
You did?
I did, but I should have been PE or something.
No. Don't do.
Can't respect you if you're PE.
I couldn't respect myself if I was PE. You know what I mean? Like it's a piece of paper, but I could not respect myself if I was PE. But they'll probably be working tomorrow, so I might just be by myself. But I will be going live, discussing everything that went on in the trade deadline. But a lot of crazy things happen with the NBA, and it's a fun time to be a fan of basketball. That's all I got to say. If we want to move up into Super Bowl predictions or NFL awards.
Yeah, I think we're gonna hit it with the NFL awards now. Let me just write
Okay.
the time down real quick. All right. So with that being said, time for the JB Show NFL awards. Who would like to go first to present your?
Are we calling
End
these the
of-
Barnesies or like?
Definitely not calling it that. Definitely not calling it that.
You know, we need. We're just gonna JB Show awards, I guess.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna go with for now.
Dang.
The Barnsies, good. I mean,
I tried.
on the fly, it was good though. It's not bad.
Gives me the office vibes, but it's not
It
bad.
does give me the Office vibes. I'm down for that. The Barnsies, we're calling it that. The Barnsies Awards. With that being said,
Even I'm having second thoughts with that name.
when you hear someone else say it, yeah, we'll just call it the
Yeah.
JB Show NFL Awards. With that being said, Micah, would you like to go first?
Yes, because hopefully you all will have forgotten it by the time that we are done with the last person. So here we go. So for the MVP, I picked Jalen Hurts as my MVP. He was solid all around. I'm not gonna say much about each guy. So do I keep going? Is that how we're gonna do it? I just go down my list. Okay. Coach of the year, a little biased, but I'm going with Mike McDaniels. It's a little biased, but his football IQ is way up there, so that's kind of why I picked him. Offensive player of the year, I went with Justin Jefferson. He led in catches and in yards. He was one of the top players for both of those, so that's why I picked him. Defensive player of the year, as much as I don't like Prescott, I still got to respect when I see it. So Micah Parsons. I picked Micah Parsons. For offensive rookie, I mean, this was pretty obvious to me, at least. I don't know what you guys are going to pick, but I went with Purdy. He looked Purdy. I mean, that's been overused, so I'm just gonna say that once. Defensive rookie, I went with.
Would like to clarify that is the first time it has been said on this show.
That is true, but
I'm
you see it like
so-
everywhere.
I'm so glad we avoided that mess of. Well, Purdy's pretty good. I
He's
mean,
Purdy. You've seen it everywhere, so once is enough, I guess. Defensive rookie of the year, I went with Hutchinson, Aiden Hutchinson. He had 52 tackles. I mean, 9.5 sacks, 3 interceptions. I mean, the man was a beast. So I went with that. Comeback player of the year, I went with Saquon Barkley. I feel like that was pretty solid. And then most improved player is Gino. Am I saying that right? Yeah, I always get his name mixed up. And then
Like the cheesesteak.
what?
Like the cheesesteak place.
Okay. And then assistant coach of the year, I went with Shane Steichen. Is that how? Okay, Shane Steichen. I actually said that right. Surprise. That is my picks. Take it as you will, but that's all I have.
yeah, good picks. I mean, solid. Like that. Nate, we'll let you hit your awards next here.
All right. So I'm a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, so we know who my MVP is not. He is in the Super Bowl, but his name ain't Hurts. His name is Patrick Mahomes. Put up an unbelievable season. Put up a bunch of crazy numbers. You know, as good as Hurts was, I think Mahomes just a little bit better. Had that edge and just stats and everything overall. Coach of the year, I will go in house in division this year. I'm going Brian Daboll. What he has done with the New York Giants, unprecedented. Like I wasn't expecting the Giants to be good. Like I was expecting, I wasn't even expecting the Eagles to be like that amazing either. So like this has just been a weird offseason. I expected the Broncos to win their division. So like this is just a weird NFL season. But Brian Daboll has done an amazing job with Daniel Jones and the whole Giants as a whole. So he's been great. He's my coach of the year. Offensive player of the year. It's tough. I was in between Hill and Jefferson. But yeah, with leading in catches and leading in yards, I think I have to go with Jefferson. He was unbelievable, and that just shows how good Trayvon Diggs is locking him up. Jair Alexander locking him up. But yeah, he was one of the most unstoppable forces this season on offense. Defensive player of the year, I don't even need to say it. If you have watched any episode of this show, you probably know who it is. I'll say it to you who are new. Micah Parsons. He's a dog. You know, despite what you believe his political opinions are, he is a dog. One, you know, as long as you stay off Twitter, you a dog. You know,
He's developing social anxiety though, so we cannot bag on him too hard.
that's true. It's true. We won't tag. I won't tag him in this one. I've tagged him in all the ones when I've mentioned him. I won't tag you in this one, Micah. Don't want to hurt your feelings. So
don't need to give you more anxiety.
oh no, absolutely not. It's not like you play for one of the biggest franchises in the whole world. But besides the point, offensive rookie of the year, I am going Arizona high school product Brock Purdy. This is a toss up. Garrett Wilson, he was good, but Brock Purdy just had an unbelievable rise, and I think he deserves this award. Defensive rookie of the year, one of the best cornerbacks in the league, even as a rookie, Sauce Gardner. He did an unbelievable job. Whether there's a debate on if he's allowed a touchdown or not, but even if he has, he's only allowed one, and I think it was in zone coverage. So, but he's just done an amazing job. Comeback player of the year. I just wanted to clarify, we did separate this award. So there is comeback player of the year. That's an NFL award, but we also added most improved player of the year, just because comeback player of the year is coming back from injury, and I think normally, but I think most improved player, like, that should be an award as well. I think there should be two separate entities. So I think that's what we believe as a show. So comeback player of the year, Saquon Barkley, coming off of injury, coming back and performing like he did. That was amazing. But come back. Yeah. Oh, it's a sweep.
That's a sweep.
Yeah, that's a sweep. And I think our most improved player is also a sweep. They wrote him off. We didn't write back. Geno Smith, most improved player of the year. Assistant coach of the year. He coached the Dallas Dogs, created one of the best defenses in the NFL. Dan Quinn, give that man his flowers. He probably should have been a head coach somewhere, but teams were stupid. So those are my awards. It's handed off to Jared.
With that being said, my MVP is in the Super Bowl. My MVP. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Both of these quarterbacks that are in the Super Bowl, I don't think their teams would be there or have had as deep of a run in the playoffs without them. I think they're both extremely vital to their team. With that being said, I'd love to give it to Hurts because I love Jalen Hurts. But Mahomes was just so good this year without a real actual run game. And he wasn't supposed to be because he lost Tyreek Hill. So Mahomes is my MVP. Coach of the year. He came into the worst, the lowest point in this franchise's history, and that is saying a lot. And literally revived this team and took them into the playoffs, into the divisional round. My coach of the year is Doug Peterson. Because after Urban Meyer, it was going to be tough for anybody to come in there. He came in there, and Doug Peterson, the Jaguars played in the first preseason game, and he said on an interview during the game that he had to rebuild the trust of players because they didn't trust coaches. And he took this team to the playoffs.
Especially with the tight ends. Tight ends did not trust Urban Meyer.
Kickers didn't either, from what I heard. With that being said, Doug Peterson is my coach of the year, which is kind of crazy because his former team is in the Super Bowl, and he wins coach of the year on my list when his former team makes it to the Super Bowl. Eagles went on a wild run over the last few years. Doug Peterson, I'm glad to see he's back in the NFL because the NFL needed him back, and the Jaguars are thankful that he is back. My offensive player of the year, this is a sweep as well, Justin Jefferson. I mean, what more can I say? Like, he's an animal. He's only in his third year in the league, and he's already the league's one of the best wide receivers in the entire league. And he's in his third year. And he was in that conversation after his first one. He's a special, special player. We haven't seen many like him. My defensive player of the year is Nick Bosa. He will not be watching the Super Bowl in case he needs to clarify it one more time. But
we don't know why. He probably is on vacation or something, or probably doing something more important. But I don't know if it has anything to do with anything major.
I don't think it has anything to do with the two quarterbacks. I don't think it has anything to do with the fact he hates the Eagles, or maybe he just hates people in general. Certain people, maybe. Nick Bosa is my defensive player of the year, though, minus whatever he believes in his politics and maybe his weird racism that he has. But With that being said, moving on, my offensive rookie of the year. And this was a tough one for me because I would never give this award to Brock Purdy. Ever. My offensive rookie of the year, I debated between 3 different people. Well, really 4. But I could not give it to Kenny Pickett. So he got knocked out almost immediately. Then I debated between Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, and Dameon Pierce, the running back from Houston. Decided to go Chris Olave, even though I could have gone Garrett Wilson. I liked Chris Olave. He was also on my fantasy team. He was for a long time like wide receiver 1 down there because Michael Thomas was hurt. Emmanuel Sanders was hurt. They didn't really have anybody to catch a football. Is Emmanuel Sanders? No, Jarvis Landry, not Emmanuel Sanders. Wolf. I don't think Emmanuel Sanders is in the league anymore. Jarvis Landry was wide receiver 2 most of the year. Chris Olave, even when Landry came back, was kind of wide receiver 1. Olave was really good. My defensive rookie of the year, Sauce Gardner. Just didn't want to give 2 Jets rookie of the year, even though they had a great draft class. Couldn't give the Jets that much credit. Comeback player of the year, already said, Saquon Barkley. What more can I say? With that being said, most improved player, Geno Smith. Sweep by all 3. My assistant coach of the year, offensive coordinator for a team that wasn't supposed to be good. For a team that down the stretch looked like they could have been one of the more dangerous teams if they would have made it into the playoffs. And they're the team that might have retired Aaron Rodgers. Offensive coordinator Ben Johnson led one of the most prolific offenses in the entire league, and he was extremely, extremely impressive the whole year. Even when they were at one point 1-6, and he somehow figured it out, turned it around, and they almost made the playoffs somehow. And he did not get a head coaching job. He decided to go back to Detroit for unfinished business. And I love that. Dan Campbell is building a great environment there. And I'm excited to see what Ben Johnson does next year when the head coach's job rolls around again. Because he's definitely going to get one then, I think. That being said, that was our NFL awards, the Barnsies, as Nate called them. Don't think that name's going to stay.
Please don't. Even I am saying that. Please don't.
With that being said, we will transition now into our rank 3. This is our new segment. My brain almost broke and couldn't remember the word segment. Newer segment where we rank 3 of a subject. Today we are doing best Super Bowl moments. Do we have a volunteer who would like to go first? Micah, we are going to do probably. Do you want to go second? You'll end. We'll let Nate end because Nate's actually got an interesting list. I'll go second, then Nate will go. With that being said, Micah, take it away.
I'm going.
For your first edition of Rank 3. Welcome back, by the way. You weren't here last week.
Yeah, I wasn't here. Yeah. Freaking school. So I wanted to go first because I think mine's kind of like a boring list, but I think they're solid. We'll see. We'll just start. Do I go from like my 3rd to number 1 pick, or how do you want me to? You want me to go? Okay.
If you have an honorable mention, start with honorable mention, and then go honorable mention. If you
I don't have
one,
an honorable mention.
Okay.
No, I just have my 3 that I wanted.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah. So we'll go with 3. I had somebody else in mind for number 3, and then Nate mentioned this before we started, and I was gonna go with the Dolphins' perfect season when they won the Super Bowl for that. That was my number 3. That's why I put it at number 3. I feel like that was solid. I don't know if you can really call that a play
defined
in
moment.
general.
Yeah.
Right, but it's just like an overall statement. I can go with my original if you want me to, which is, I guess, an honorable mention. We'll start with that since you want me to do that.
So Dolphins will be honorable mention?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
We will go with William Perry. He is AKA the Refrigerator. He played in Super Bowl 20, I think it was. Anyways, his touchdown, man's a tank. His touchdown versus the Patriots was insane. So I'm putting that at number 3 for me. Number 2 is going with the helmet catch with Eli. Throwing that is insane. For him to escape out of some tackles that could have been terrible, and to throw that down, pretty good catch. And then for my number 1 pick, I'm going with the Philly special in Super Bowl 52 when Nick Foles made the touchdown touchdown. So that's my 3. That's what I'm going with.
I didn't even consider Philly special. Wow. That's crazy because I'm not even going to put it on the list now.
Great play call.
What a play call. The Eli Manning, David Tyree one, that one's always so interesting to me because people forget, like, there was the big old viral photo of that fat quarterback at one point that played in that one weird league. He was like a big guy. He was a backup quarterback that year for the Giants. And part of the reason he said that Eli was able to escape that throw, and Eli has credited him for this, is because in practice, the backup quarterback was attempting to sack him and pull him down. And then, like, that's part of the reason, the only reason that Eli believes that he was ever able to break away from those sacks and deliver that football. And, like, he passed away, so rest in peace to Jared something. I cannot remember his name, but he is an animal. We're good. Hate the Wi-Fi at this school. Cannot stress that enough. It's been a real issue. My rank 3, my honorable mention, James Harrison, pick 6, Super Bowl 43. I am a Steeler fan, so that's not going to be the only Steelers moment that pops up on my list. But the James Harrison pick 6 is one of the greatest Super Bowl plays of all time. But it's somehow an honorable mention for me because I didn't want to put 2 Steelers plays on my list and look like I was biased. Number 3 is the David Tyree helmet catch. That is number 3 for me. I pretty much listed out all the reasons why, like the story. Like, I think that's an awesome story. David Tyree wasn't even a wide receiver that, like, had really any regular season catches, did not really have much of a career after that in the NFL. He was just a Super Bowl wonder. It paid off for the Giants. They beat the undefeated Patriots that year. What a moment. My number 2 moment, though, was the guy that helped kick off that franchise, the Patriot franchise. Adam Vinatieri in Super Bowl 36. I think it was the Rams. When he kicks off, he kicks the field goal, and the Patriots win their first ever Super Bowl. And Tom Brady wins his first ever Super Bowl. And that starts the greatest dynasty we've ever seen in our lifetimes and in NFL history. And then my number 1, Big Ben, the Santonio Holmes, triple coverage. Maybe the best throw in Super Bowl history to win the Steelers' 6th ring. And for Santonio Holmes to cement his legacy and win a Super Bowl MVP. What a play. What a play. I can't say anything more. What a play. What a catch, even though Arizona people think it wasn't to this day. They're just haters.
They don't. I think they've seen it. It's like that, the Dez catch. Like, that was a catch. Arizona believes it was not a catch. So, but for me, I didn't have a whole lot of time to put into this list. I work. So I work 2 jobs. So I work for the print shop here where you print a bunch of books and stuff. On my second job, I wake up super, super early, like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm a hater. And so, my team has never made it to the Super Bowl in my lifetime. And it's been like 30 years since we've ever done anything profitable. So, honorable mention. I'm sorry, Dallas, but it's true. You have given me so much pain. Honorable mention. Super Bowl in Arizona. Instead of doing the easy thing, handing off to beast mode, we are going to throw the ball directly to Malcolm Butler, ending the chance for Russell Wilson to get his 2nd Super Bowl trophy. The very, very sad moment for the Seattle Falcons. Jeez. Man.
An hour on the mic late, we'll do that to you.
Yeah, no. That's the 2 o'clock in the morning shift, being a hater on Twitter. That's what it does to you. But that's my honorable mention. Number 3, the blackout versus the Ravens and the 49ers. Many believe it was staged. We don't know. But it was just a very memorable moment. It's like national television, everything just shuts off.
Ray Lewis really thinks the NFL didn't want him to win that Super Bowl. The scriptwriters were cooking during that Super Bowl.
It's true. They wrote an amazing, and I'm glad Ravens won because I'm pretty sure. Huh? I don't know if I can say that now, just with everything that went down with the 49ers quarterback, and so probably just avoid this whole thing in general. We're gonna back it up. Anyway, memorable moment. The blackout 49ers and the Ravens. Jeez. I'm Mexican. I can't be racist. Number 2, the collapse of the Falcons. 28-3. Then Matt Ryan has the I don't know what he was cooking. This was like Russ level of cooking.
NyQuil chicken, bro.
NyQuil chicken. It was bad. It's even 28-9 going into the fourth quarter. Like you were 15 minutes away from a Super Bowl. Matty Ice was cooking and then he stopped. First overtime in Super Bowl history. Patriots complete the comeback. It was not a comeback. The Falcons just absolutely crumbled before our eyes. My number 1 pick. Nobody probably had this on the list. Tennessee Titans. Music City. They almost won a Super Bowl. But story of our lives, they were just a little short. 1 yard short of scoring the touchdown to win the game. And, as a hater, that's probably the best way to end my list. So this is rank 3. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to pass it back to Jared.
Ending it.
I can't even. I can barely talk right now. I'm dying laughing so hard. I love this. I love this rank 3. It was a great episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. With that being said, make sure to check out Nate's box out special. I will leave the link down below. I haven't pubbed it, but next week I'm going to start a Pittsburgh sports talk show with my cousin on this YouTube channel. It will kick off first episode probably next Wednesday. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you check that out if you're a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, if you're a Pittsburgh sports fan. I don't think there's quite a few of you that maybe do that, or Steelers fans on this show, but I appreciate every single one of you that watch and listen. Make sure to subscribe. We really appreciate it. If you watch this far, which good on you for sticking around. We appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't and you've watched this far, because that'd be crazy if you